What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Aleksi here. So in this video I want to talk about God and kind of like why it hurts so much when God really reveals who you are. And if you'd like to check out Truth, watch the link, second link, Walk with God course, donations if you'd like to help the channel, and one-on-ones if you want to talk with me. But this is when God like comes at you and shows who you really are in actuality, and that makes you very uncomfortable, and that discomfort is actually where you grow. And that's what you need to kind of accept is like, God will come and do this, especially if you're asking for guidance and healing and becoming your true highest self. That is what it requires, is to actually have self-awareness and come to understand yourself and what you actually are. It doesn't matter like if you've done like heinous sins or like whatever you've done in your life that's wrong or shameful or whatever. God kind of like prunes and shows you everything that you've done, makes you repent also for things that you've done. Obviously God won't force you to necessarily do anything, but it kind of comes with the process. If you're actually pursuing God and faith, then you should repent. And for any major mistakes and transgressions, it makes sense only, but that you would feel bad if you have conscience and reason and everything else like a human should. And you feel these things in your heart, and when God shows you these things, you don't need to be afraid of these things. You should really look at it from the perspective of like, in a sense, refreshing, you could say, self-awareness, in the sense that like you come to understand also like where you're lacking and what are you also hiding perhaps in your own heart. Like we all have like, maybe it's like you feel shameful for an act of like lust or something. That could be a major one for a lot of people that you've done in the past, especially before you came to know your faith and God, before you're on your faith journey. Like those are the kind of like shameful marks people usually hold on to, and that people might have opinions about. And maybe even in like people that call themselves believers might have like an opinion about you in your past, and that somehow like disqualifies you in God's eyes, or they like harbor these opinions and everything. And this is kind of like, also, you obviously don't need to like worry about anything else other than what God thinks and what the truth actually means for us, and how it expresses itself in our lives, in the sense that like, how are we according to the truth and God, and how are we in God's eyes? That's the only thing that really matters, not what other people think, unless it's also according to what God thinks, basically. And yeah, don't be afraid of like facing yourself and truly authentically being able to express yourself, as well as to know yourself authentically. And also talking about your transgressions and being honest and brave enough to be able to be open-hearted and talk about it to God, and perhaps to other people as well, like what mistakes you've made, what transgressions you had. And things are in the past. Those things that you've done are in the past, even if they happened recently. Like if you truly come to repent and change, and you feel shame for these things, and want to change, that if you don't want to change, that's another thing. But if you actually want to be better and understand yourself, and you seek forgiveness and grace for these things you've done, for God to forgive you, in a sense, then you can actually come to like understand yourself and to forgive yourself as well. Because not God might have forgiven you already, but if you don't also forgive yourself, then you don't truly know yourself, in a sense. Like you're kind of like lacking, in the sense that like both like cooperating with God and also having self-awareness, like two different things. And sometimes God also already has done something in you or shown you something, but you just refuse to change or accept it or have self-awareness that this thing already happened, or you've already been forgiven. And this is what a lot of people also lack in. And like, I don't know, it's kind of just like a simple coming to have self-awareness and true authentic self-expression are very important things, because these actually allow you to be an honest person and allow you to live your life purely and fully and with meaning. Because if we're not honest and open, then we're never going to be able to be honest and open, with people or with God. And once you actually let go of a lot of these things as well, that's something God teaches you, is also forgiveness and letting go and forgiving peoples. And also healing from these things is something that takes time, and you need to go through that process. and to actually have like self-understanding as well while you're in the process, and giving yourself grace of time in the sense to heal from these things, because some of these things that are deep in us are hard to heal, and these things run in our minds forever till we actually like it might take months for you to heal something that hurt you pretty badly or something like that, depending. Could be a bad relationship or just somebody that hurt you, friends or lovers, whatever, people you've dated or whatever, marriages, like varying degrees, maybe it's just abuse or something. So whatever your circumstances, just go through with it and trust the process, and don't worry about everything in the past so much, in the sense that like you can work on letting these things go and work on, obviously feelings last for a while from something, and you need to heal obviously from stuff, but like don't hold on to stuff in a sense, in your fantasy mindset, in the sense that if it's already healed, then why are you still holding on to it, or whatever. But yeah, this video was kind of about like obviously coming to understand yourself and self-expression, and having the self-awareness to actually heal in a variety of ways. But if there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.